Hi guys, it's me, Carrie Silver Lining Mena. And today on Silver Linings, I had my friend Denise on. She agreed to help me sort through some stuff. And I kind of choose my topics because I get readings, private readings, and they're more personal stuff. I always share my personal stuff on there, but it's stuff that I don't think will necessarily benefit the masses. But some stuff I do think so, and this is one of those things. Well, I am having some solar plexus issues. I don't know if that's like across the board. I'm sure everybody will get there sometimes, but she gave me some pointers on how to deal with it, what's going on, and I'm hoping some people can take some of that information and learn and grow and apply it to themselves. There's always good information in these kinds of videos. But the other thing she helped me work through, or not necessarily work through, but understand and gave me some pointers on, was how I am to use guilt to retrain my thought patterns. And I'm kind of being trained through treats in an effort to create guilty feelings in me because I don't always need to eat that little thing I've just eaten. And now during this time of quarantine, we're all just kind of bored and snacking on stuff, whatever. So I feel like my guides kind of timed it just right to have an abundance of snacks in the cupboard because we did kind of hunker down. We do want to kind of stay out of the grocery stores. I didn't go nuts. I didn't panic buy, but I did buy things that I normally would not have bought. Things with a long shelf life, like the little Mexican animal crackers. It's like 89 cents for like a 5-pound bag or something. So, I wasn't thinking nutrition at all. I was thinking, let's not be too hungry. So we're kind of plowing through this stuff. We actually have more food in our pantry than we've ever had before. Things went a little backwards, but because of this time and the extra abundance of junk I have in my pantry, my guides are using that to my advantage. They're using that as a tool to help me when I do have a guilty feeling to combat that in a way, contradict that with a positive feeling and create a positive energy within me. And somehow that will translate into being more effective, more efficiently manifesting stuff, I guess. I'm not sure. I haven't reviewed this video yet. I usually review it before I create the intro, but this time I want to go outside in the sunshine instead. So I'm going to shut my little studio down and go outside and hope that whatever I missed in that video won't matter, and I can just continue on some other video another day. In the meantime, enjoy what Denise and I discuss. Everybody can learn from this retraining. We have so much garbage dumped on us from, all kinds of sources, TV, our parents, our teachers, whatever, the church, all kinds of stuff. So this is an opportunity for us to learn how to become independent of the external dogmas. All right, check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, we are recording. And I have my friend here with me, Denise, and we were just catching up a little bit, but what we were starting to catch up on were things that I kind of wanted to talk about in the video anyway. So I stopped her and said, I'm going to press record. So generally speaking, based on what we just spoke about, it seems like you're doing okay right now in our quarantining. Life hasn't changed much for you either.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. How's Jenna doing with it? And Rhonda.
Jenna loves it as far as she loves the online school because she has always thought how they taught school was a bunch of BS. She just knew she was smart enough and more connected enough to know just to play their game. and so, that's what she did. And now she can go to school, do her online school and do it on her own time frame and put in the few hours work to get done what needs to be done. And she loves it. She just likes it. Of course, there's no prom, and we've already had the prom dress and the limo and all of this stuff. But the group that she was going with says there's still going to be a prom, though. They're going to do their own graduation. She's okay with that because she says what really counts is her college one.
There you go. That's right.
And because the high school one you have to do, the college one is of choice. Rhonda, on the other hand, she's loving it because she's home. She doesn't work as much. And she gets to do a lot of projects, the unfinished Harvey projects that needed touch up. and so she's done some of that, and I love having all of them home.
Aw,
Every day feels like a Saturday to me.
They're
So
all Blur's day.
and oh my God, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I just was like, is this week ever going to end where I don't work my corporate job? And but it's good. I don't know. And I went to the grocery store for the first time yesterday, and it's like, it was so clear to me that there's always enough, and then there's an abundance of everything, and it's our illusion thinking that there isn't enough.
That is so true. And it really is a matter of perception in many ways, because I think that many of us are just programmed to feel the way we do. And my programming says that I'm very safe. And I feel for people that have chosen the experience to be fearful. And I know that we have to have a balance. So, I'm respecting that, but I still can't help but feel for them, because I do have so much peace in a time in which I could be absolutely panicked. So I feel very blessed to have my life not have been changed very much in all of this. And we're doing okay over here too. My kids, they're okay with the online school, but they miss the socializing of their friends for sure.
Yeah.
And by some miracle, I think that the gods have allowed for peace between my husband and I. We argue a lot, but we've been doing okay too, because he decided that I think there's an abundance of mechanics at the airports right now. And he has accumulated like almost a year's worth of sick time. So he's like, if I'm going to use it, I'm going to stay home with my family and take care. So I think the company almost appreciates that. Stay home. We don't need you. So things are doing okay over here too, except what's going on is the snacking stuff. And I just paid you a huge compliment because you look gorge. You had to have lost weight since I lost, or you figured out the camera angle. Just kidding. But I was laughing the other day because I knew I wanted to have you on for this particular thing. And let me back up a little bit, because you did that live thing with Jennifer and Veronica and Michelle and yeah, I'm missing somebody. I feel like, who else was there?
Jennifer, Veronica, Michelle, and it was 4.
Oh, okay, I got you all. But I was using my phone, and I had just hooked up my phone to Zoom for my boy to use for online learning. So it kept coming up as Josh, and I couldn't see my picture because I didn't have the camera activated. Finally, it popped on. I'm like, oh, I'm Josh. I get it now. But you didn't know that when you were drawn to me.
Yes.
And the question I asked was, and I wanted more. I wanted them to elaborate more, and they really didn't. So this is the time that I'm hoping that the guides will elaborate more. And I believed that not only that little omen, that little sign that you pulled me out of there, but I saw what Jenna did to your refrigerator.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh, what she did for you or to you?
She did for me. She put like you would do a chart.
Yes.
And she charted out if I'm hungry or not. And I noticed on one of them, she said, okay, then yes, you are. And then go down and it says you're hangry. So go eat. And then hangry and hungry are both say go eat. And another one's I don't know, and it said choose wisely. And then up top, if you're not, it tells you to go somewhere else or whatever. Because I would joke and say I'm eating like every 5 minutes, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Because my lifestyle has not changed.
That's a good point. Yeah. Did you figure it out?
Because I got caught up in the energy of what's going all around. And that is why I feel like I had to eat every 5 minutes. And because of that energy in me, that was like a way to, I don't know if I want to say suppress it, but comfort it.
Definitely.
And I wasn't connecting what was going on. I was just wanting to comfort it. And so, so I've been really looking at the past week, I guess you could say, am I really hungry?
Well, let me ask you, after you ate and you snacked when you really weren't hungry, how did you feel about yourself? I mean, what was your internal dialogue about that?
Well, of course, because, I'm working, I'm sitting, and stressful things are going on. So then I'd go get it and sit down and have a little snack. And I'm unconsciously snacking. And it doesn't mean I was unconsciously snacking on cookies and cakes and donuts, because I don't have that in the house, but just unconsciously snacking on almonds or some crackers, or
mindless
yes,
eating.
Yes. And just doing that instead of focusing on what was going on. And when after I was done, it was like, well, I don't even remember eating that. And it's like, then I'd go, and then I'd like, I didn't know what else to do. So then I'd go get it. And afterwards, say like around 7:00 at night, I'm like, oh my God, you've just chewed all day long.
Chewed your cud.
Yes. It's like you didn't really eat a meal, you just grazed.
You grazed all day. Yes.
And it was because like at 7, I was going to fix me a meal per se. And then I'm like, but you just grazed all day long. You were at a buffet all day long.
Yeah, that is how it is. And I would gladly like forego the next meal, but I got to prepare the meal for the family. And there it is. And
Yep.
Well, this is what I think this is how I think that the guides, mine in particular, and I can't be the only one because it sounds like such a good idea, are using this quarantine as a tool. I mean, clearly they are, but this is like a bonus one. It could have been anything, but it just so happened to fall in this time in my life. And what's happening with me, and I know that there are other circumstances, but I'm just going to go with the food one for now, is that when you do a mindless, pop in the mouth, and I do have a lot of junk food. I just had my birthday, so there's cakes and there's candy, and
Yum.
So we're doing all that stuff. So whenever I engage in a guilty behavior and have those guilty thoughts, I'm supposed to be feeling guilty. That's part of my learning, my growing, my lesson. In order to retrain my brain and create more neural pathways to something or other, I have to experience a guilty thought so I can counteract it with a positive thought, a pat on my back in some way. And somehow this is going to translate into learning how to manifest more efficiently. Now, I'm not sure about all of this. And I keep asking, the guides tell me, you'll figure it out. And I know eventually I would, but I feel like sometimes they want me to figure it out on my shows so I can share this information with other people. So one of the things I want to talk about is exactly how this works. I don't know if it's I don't know the end result, but I do know that I am being like trained through treats in order to have guilty feelings to counteract those guilty feelings. And I don't mind the guilt so much, but I don't like the results because I worked hard to lose my weight and I have put some back on. And I asked Eric, why am I going backwards? I healed from all that stuff. I lost that weight. I'm going backwards. He says, you're not going backwards. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And this is why. But I only got that much of the why. So I want to investigate that some more. And I guess we can just go with that. But I also have some yellow chakra issues. And I want to understand that too. I feel like they may be intertwined, which is why I'm bringing the two up. So I don't know if we could talk to my yellow chakra at some point or just find some guidance in that. That has something to do with independence. And I don't think any of this necessarily has to do with weight and nutrition. I think it's all about rewiring pathways in my brain so I can blank. I don't know what the blank is exactly and that kind of stuff. So are you game to investigate this kind of thing with me? And
I am. And it's funny you said about the yellow, because I was just this morning when I was getting dressed, I was like, you don't own, because I was wanting to wear something yellow. And I was like, you don't own a yellow shirt.
That's funny. I almost wore a yellow shirt too, not even putting that yellow together. How funny.
And I was just, and I started cruising through my wardrobe, my closet. And I was like, I don't own a yellow shirt.
We got to get you a yellow shirt then.
So when you mentioned yellow, I was like, that's wild how I thought to wear a yellow shirt, and then you mentioned yellow.
Well, I didn't put the yellow on because it didn't match my lipstick. I had to change everything up. You know what? I'm wearing the one, though, that you tagged me in a long time ago with the sparkles.
Oh, yes.
I had to get it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, what I'm getting is you're absolutely correct about it's not about the eating and stuff like that. We want to say it is that, and that's why I'm being told that's why we never succeed at it, because we're not addressing what's really going on, the behind the scenes. And Eric
Right.
has talked to me a lot about, we got to know what's going on behind the scenes, and we have to trust that there's stuff going on behind the scenes, because what's out here is not really happening. It's just an illusion of what's happening. So when we can get behind the scenes, then we get a clearer vision and a better picture of what's really going on. And then we're able to move through. And this food thing is another thing. It's like, what's going on behind the scenes. So what are those, the energy, the whatever you call that stuff up there, what is it in there that needs to be, it's almost like what needs to be hot wired in order to move, because that's what I'm being shown is what happens when we eat things that we know aren't good for us. We're trying to hot wire those things so we can feel good and feel better, because when we're eating those things, it does feel good inside of our body. We feel good, not nutritionally wise, but there's other things going on in there to help us to feel good. But when that, it's almost like, but when that stops feeding down, they're showing it stops feeding down our system, then things aren't working like we wanted it to. And then we get these other thoughts of, you want a different route on how to feel good.
Okay.
But also I'm hearing there's nothing wrong with us eating these things.
It's the guilt.
It's what it is the guilt, but it's also, why are we wanting to eat that? If our true purpose is to why we want to eat, I keep getting a ding dong. I don't know what they show me, a ding dong, or what do you call it? A Twinkie, those things. Some people just want to eat that just because they look fun, and it's just an experience.
Okay.
But then there's some people who, like me, would want to eat it because I need a distraction. I'm feeling a lot of uncomfortableness. And I know from experience that distracts me for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So then I want to eat that. But if I would find something that they're showing, if we find something that we're not wanting, when we go after a food that's not wanting to distract us from something, but it's almost what they're showing me. It's like we want something that's fun, but it's also what's going to help us get to wherever it is we're wanting to go. And I feel like with emotion wise, what is it that's going to help us get to that feeling of, I guess, hugging that emotion or whatever it is that we're feeling? And food, do I make sense?
You're absolutely making sense. Food does feel good. You know, we call it comfort food for a reason, and it's we know it, we're familiar with it. It's quick, it's easy.
But there's other comfort levels that we can get to without eating.
Yes.
And we just don't know it because we've never been taught those different ones.
That's what I want to find out what alternatives are. And I'm going to deviate from the eating a little bit, because I have guilt about other things too. And I really want to focus more on the guilt and the rewiring and the benefits of that, and how do we go about changing the thought patterns. Because I know that my guides use food for me. It's I have body image issues, and I'm propelled to feel better about myself when, I want to look better, I want to feel better. So they use food. So that's just a tool. But I want to focus more on what the benefits of rewiring that brain are. Am I correct in it being a means to manifest more successfully, because we don't feel like we have to work so hard and feel so guilty about the shit we want in life? That's kind of where I'm headed, but I don't know if I'm right or not.
I'm getting, you are on the right path with that, because we have listened as a society so long to incorrect information on how to obtain and receive and be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. We
And
always
so,
hear about, sacrifice and hard work brings you the things we want, but I don't think it needs to be that way necessarily sometimes.
well, when you say the word sacrifice, that is such a strong word. And and when you look up the word, they're showing me that word sacrifice, what it means. It's such a dark word. And so we get into that, even though we're not conscious of what that word is really saying, there is still a vibration with that word, which I find is fascinating what they're saying. There's a vibration that goes with that word that we're digesting within our body when you say sacrifice, because you're not the only person that has used that word sacrifice. I think it's they're showing me it's even in books about you have to sacrifice and give up this and do that.
Yeah.
And that is what they want you to believe, but that's not the truth, because I'm getting from my team is that is the total opposite of how the co-creator, the source energy, God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, had created us to want to do. It's not that.
Yes.
It's and what happens is when they're showing me what you're talking about the rewiring, so the guilt isn't there and the shame isn't there and all of those unpleasant things, is so because what you're learning to do is, and what you're wanting to do and what you're going to achieve to do, is that you're going to find other ways to get what you're wanting and wanting to play with and needing without having those emotions. And you're like, this is guilt, this is shame. And when you go to something, you're going to know this is what I'm going to feel with this guilt or shame. So you're going to redirect your thoughts into something that's more empowering and more powerful for you as Carrie to use and to get where you're going. And as a result of that, as they're showing me, you're going to like be opening the doors to paradise. You're going to see all the birds singing, the sunshine, the swimming pools, the just paradise is what they're showing me. Because this, what we think is we don't have to work 80 hours a week to get what it is that we're wanting and needing, and definitely not sacrifice. And this is, with food is a good analogy also for people, because they look at it as they had to sacrifice eating one meal a day in order to get to a certain weight, or they had to sacrifice never going out to eat, or just the torture they're saying of certain things with foods. But it's just not with foods, it's with anything. It can be shopping, it can be
exactly.
They're saying people drink abusively. It's all intertwined. And rewiring is what they're saying, is rewiring what you've been taught and rewiring it in a way to where it's in alignment with your consciousness, your intuitive guidance, whatever that is for you. And that's what you're getting in touch with, is like, and it's, when they're saying this, I'm like, it's like the same thing. It was right after Hurricane Harvey. I don't know, it just dawned on me. Everybody goes to eat lunch at noon.
Yes. Who made up all the times?
I know.
My
husband's.
Yes.
Who said we had to all be hungry at noon? Who the flip said? And part of me is like, the restaurants are in cahoots with this. and then I'm going on, and I'm like, who said? So I don't eat at noon anymore.
I try to do that with my kids. I'm like, eat when you're hungry. But my husband's very regimented, and he's like, they have meal times for a reason. And I'm like, that's because when you're at school or at work, we all have a lunch break because it's convenient, but it doesn't have anything to do with nutrition and diet. It's to make the business function.
Well, it is. And also too, when you said that about with work and that, it's a form of control. It is, when it comes down to it. It's a form of control. It's a way of them telling you what your body needs instead of your body's telling them what it needs.
Uh-huh.
And so,
and
go
I guess
ahead.
that would play into it then, because if we're, if we're so controlled, we don't even realize we don't even know that we've been programmed in that way. So that
Correct.
still feels like another way to rewire.
It is, and that is what you're doing. And sometimes you may feel like the oddball or like
Going against that grain.
yeah, like you're crazy or like what's going on with me? How come I'm making this more difficult? But inside of you, you're not making it difficult.
Okay.
You're just questioning things and it's through your eating and what you've been doing to lose weight is what started wakening up more things in you.
Okay.
Because you
Okay.
weren't pushing the awareness down anymore. It was like now it's able to breathe. It's kind of
Okay.
like instead of packing your plants with cement, you're putting soil down to now the plants can start popping up and blooming and stuff. And that's what happens when we digest a ton of food.
Okay. You know what? Maybe you can elaborate on this a little bit. I want to, and I'm just saying this because I want to give hope to other people and explore. Oh, go. What?
Excuse
Okay.
me.
Is that this was Pierre? One of my guides right now is Pierre. What's her name? Marie Curie's husband. So I got Pierre Curie on my team right now, and he told me that at some point I will just automatically know what my body needs and craves. I won't crave the cheeseburgers and pizzas. That will just be like out of my awareness. And that sounds awesome because that's where the sacrifice comes. I can't eat that pizza. It's full of bread and carbs. But if I don't even desire it anymore, then it's no longer a sacrifice. So
It's freedom. It's freedom.
Freedom from the cravings of the crap. I mean, how does one rewire your brain to not want a pizza?
It's not that you're not trying to rewire your brain to where you don't want a pizza. It's a matter of rewiring your brains. And when I say that, they show me it's like they're showing me like the little wires. It's like they're cleaning them. They're cleaning those wires of any residue or anything, I guess, from like what's in the pizza. You're cleaning that, they're showing me, and so that your thought process isn't going towards to what pizza is made out of, because it's what's in the pizza is what you're craving, because in that pizza, whatever it is, it helps to numb other parts of you.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's not that the pizza is so-called evil.
Right.
It's what's in the pizza is what it is that you're trying to stay away from. So it's not the pizza, like they just kept saying it's not the pizza. And so is there another way to achieve? And they're showing me, what is it that you're wanting? What is it that the pizza does for you that you're wanting?
I don't know. It tastes good. Sometimes I'm hungry. Sometimes it's just yummy. I don't have to cook.
Yeah, I know. They're saying like, what is it that what is it fulfilling within you? They're saying go within that. And they said sometimes, though, there is a pizza that you may want, but you're going to gravitate to one that doesn't have 49 processed ingredients in it.
Okay.
And you'll want to eat that because whatever that other pizza is that you're looking at that will look good and feel good to you. And that's the key, they're saying, is what feels good to you to eat. You're going to want to eat that because that's going to help your expansion. That's going to be like putting water on your plants.
Okay. So I'm like under the impression sort of that it's just going to magically change. Is it more of like in a way of experience and process and elimination? Because like I said, it's been my birthday and I've been, I ate cake and ice cream and I feel like shit afterwards. Am I just going to finally condition myself to realize that cake's going to make me feel bad? You're not interested in that. Is it kind of like that thing? Like I just learned to.
Yes. and there's still a part of you that still has some of that old Carrie in you that you haven't caught up with, because who you are today is not who you were a year ago, and definitely not who you were 5 years ago. So you still have some of that process in you that, oh yeah, it's my birthday, let's eat cake and ice cream.
Yes.
And I can understand that, because to me, a birthday wasn't a birthday unless I had a darn cake.
That's right.
A big ass cake at that.
I'm totally conditioned. I like that one.
I wanted a cake that served 30 people with 5 people attending.
I made 2 cakes.
Yeah, I'm no lie. My wedding cake, I had doubled the size of the cake, so I was sure to have leftovers.
There you go. This you are my girl.
It was the truth. I'm seriously, and so now when whatever big holiday comes up next for you, that involves a lot of treats and sugar and all this other, whatever it is that you eat, if it involves hot dogs or cotton candy or whatever, it's like, this is a time for you, they're saying, to ask yourself, is this what I really want, or is this what I'm conditioned to think this is what's supposed to happen to make this a happy day?
Okay. So a lot of it then is going to be just changing my ways and unconditioning myself, reconditioning.
They love that. They said reconditioning. And it's because you learned early on how to comfort yourself, how to help yourself feel loved and nurtured. And some of it was through food or other activities. And now, and that worked well for you. And that was a good thing that you found these things. And they're showing me you found these things early on, like young teenage years. And now you're like, okay, I've finished coloring that book. Now I want a new coloring book. And there's still some pages that are familiar to however it was 5-10 years ago. But you're like, no, I don't like coloring that page anymore, that same picture. So now this is what the journey you're in. They're showing me you're wanting new pages to color, because you want the coloring book to be of something different. And this is so good that you're going through this journey, because this is something that is so helpful to millions of people, because so many of us go through this. And even I'm learning something from this. As they're telling me this, I'm like, whoa, no. And because it's just very informative, like, I just, and I had I thought you didn't have if you didn't have a birthday cake, your birthday sucked.
Right.
And now for me, my birthdays, I like calmness. I like to, let's go walk on the beach for a few hours, or let's get the house all nice and clean so we don't have to do nothing on the birthday, or let's go to a funny movie, or let's just do something together, and to me that's a fun birthday. And it's it just depends, and it doesn't have to, and as they're saying this like ties into me, and I know you've heard of it about me wanting I said a carat solitaire diamond ring, really I want a 2 carat. And it's like, I've been, this has been popping up, being in this stillness with everybody at home, so to speak. And it's like, what is it that you want from that ring that you can't find from within?
That's a good one. Did you figure it out?
I did.
What do you want?
If that ring showed people that I was important and that I mattered.
Yeah. I get that. And just to be a little bit funny, sorry, Denise, I know you're not this kind of girl, but when you said when you were younger and you found ways to comfort yourself through foods and other things, I'm thinking masturbation. But you also said you want to change your coloring book, your pages. What I changed, a big one, this is like an extreme one, was my cutting, the way I'd cut myself or pull my hair. That really did provide comfort for me. But I did not want to do that anymore. So I had to really I mean, without even having this kind of knowledge, that was a lot of work to retrain myself to not be destructive in that way. But because it was so clearly a destructive thing, unlike eating a slice of birthday cake on a birthday, while it was harder, it was also easier because nobody should be cutting themselves with a razor blade. So that was new pages that I wanted to try.
Yeah, but you're not giving yourself enough credit for coming to the awareness that this isn't okay for me anymore. This isn't giving me what it gave me before, because a lot of people don't get there to where you are. So you have to give yourself, what I'm being told is, give yourself a little bit more credit for these huge accomplishments, because you have to get the bigger ones out of the way so that you can clear the windows they're showing me to work on these other things. And you don't want to, you wouldn't want to work on all of that at once, because that would just leave you batshit crazy and your head would explode.
Yes.
You know, so you want to leave a path of your journey on you doing things so that other people can jump on that path and say, this is what she did when she was here.
I'm so glad to hear this, because, you know, I've always say how egotistical I feel about another free reading for Carrie or whatever, but I love hearing that people will benefit from this information about myself.
And the thing about the egotistical about wanting another read, you chalk it up to that, but that's not really what it is.
Right,
Because you could get a reading every day of the week from people you know who would be more than willing to give that to you off the camera.
Aww.
So there's more to it than this. And you, they're saying you sign it up to, you chalk it off as like, I'm getting a free reading, but it's not really a free reading.
No, I don't think so. I think, it's like the way I pay for it, my exchange is to share this information with other people in hopes that they learn from it. But to know that they will, that's what balances out for me, because I like that part.
I just have chills all up my right side. And my arm and my leg is the courage it takes for you to do this. You know, this is what people are really admiring you for, is your courage and your strength to speak about things that people don't ever talk about.
Yes.
It takes a lot of courage.
It's my biggest compliment. I don't know if you watched last week's, but I dished a bunch of personal stuff.
Half of it I did. Yes, I did half.
I wanted to ask also, when we have our guilty thoughts and we're supposed to replace them with something positive. Eric gave me a couple examples, but there weren't enough examples, because I'm wondering if, say I'm going to go back to the food and I ate that piece of candy. I know I shouldn't have. I didn't need it. It was just, because it was there and I was bored. Now, when I replace that guilty negative thought with a positive one, does it have to correlate with the negative one, or could it be something completely in a different place, just something positive? Like, yeah, but I planted flowers today, or something like that. I mean, or does it have to match?
Eric says, it's so funny because he's like got these clothes on that don't match. And
it doesn't have to match then.
But he still has on a button-down shirt that's buttoned incorrectly, and pants and shorts. He's got on like
his buttons don't even match. Just get dressed.
Yeah, he's got different prints on shorts and top that are not your whatever. And he says no, because it's all, you're going with the energies. You can have a feel-good energy of sitting in a chair and just feel the goodness and the yumminess in that. And you can also have a feel-good thought of planting flowers or playing in the mud or whatever. It's the vibration is the same, and that's what you're going after.
Okay, so that was significant to me because I keep trying to combat my guilty food, but the truth is, I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be here right now. Eric said so. We're in a quarantine. He told me to enjoy my food for a few months. So those guilty thoughts are not really happening. And I'm in such a place of peace right now that I'm like looking for things to feel guilty about because I'm so chill right now. I have enough. I'm doing it. But I thought that was funny that I'm like sabotaging myself in a way and that, oh, I'm supposed to eat this. I'm supposed to feel guilty or whatever it is. It's not working. Um, okay, well, that's cool. I like that. It's just a matter of switching a negative thought with a positive thought. It doesn't even have to matter, just a good vibration going in. And literally, let me ask, I'm ask the guys, I guess I'll ask Eric. Eric, is it the truth that sometimes in my private readings that I don't get information because I'll try to blast them on this public way? Is that a truth?
He says there is truth in that. And sometimes you don't get all the information because that's part of your journey.
Right. Okay. I understand.
Because if everything's handed to you, then you're not going to appreciate it as much.
I understand that too.
Yeah.
But I did wonder if they withheld some knowing that I could do it on, I guess maybe I just need some time to decide if it will benefit the masses. And I totally believe this one will. So I'm like, I'm going to go to Denise. She's going to help me with this one. Okay. So I'm going to switch I'm going to switch a little bit because I feel like I'm going to go to the yellow chakra stuff now. Cause I feel like these are connected. I think always, everything we go through is connected to a certain extent, but because these two things are happening at the same time, it plays into that belief even more. I can feel it in here, Denise. I can feel the lump and I know how good you are. You can probably peek inside and feel it yourself inside me. And I don't know what that's about. And I got this really interesting tidbit when I did Stardust a couple weeks ago and we were talking to the higher self of her newest alien baby. His name's Aiden. And the baby is, born, but the soul hasn't dropped into it yet because it's still a little bitty lump. But Aiden told me that, and I didn't want to pursue it because that was Stardust. I can pursue it now. He said that people choose to heal in different ways. You don't always have to do it this way. Some people choose to do it in a physical way. So I had my appendectomy. I just had that hernia surgery. I have so much digestion shit going on, plus the weight gain from the whatever, my not going backwards thing. So I have all this stuff going on inside me. And I want to know, is it true that I can, as a soul, I can, my fairy girl can choose for me to, because I was like, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss how to do some stuff. So they just threw surgeries at me and said, you can heal physically instead. I want to investigate that some more. What's up with that? I mean, is it because I am so clueless, or is it like something bigger? Is it from another life that has nothing to do with me? Why would I choose to heal my spiritual and emotional stuff through a physical issue?
I'm being told because sometimes it's easier to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also being told, also for you, it's a way of making you be still. Mm. And it's also another way for you to be where you have to receive, because that's real challenging for you on receiving without giving in return. And that's
true.
That's a real challenge for you. It's like, yes, it's okay for you to ask your kids to get you some more tea or water or drinks, or get you some extra chips or some cookies or whatever while you're sitting down watching TV or outside, whatever. That's different. But the actual, can you give me something? Get something for me because I'm not able to. That's a whole different thing, because that taps into your, some people call it vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Some people call it the, it's like the fragile part of you, it's really what it is. It taps into the part of you that doesn't have a bunch of walls and protective shields around you and stuff. And so those surgeries help do that for you. And you had they're telling me that you had quite a couple of pretty profound moments during those times that you were aware, like you just had some aha moments, I guess, during those times. And I don't feel like you've shared them all with everybody yet, whatever those are. And in doing that, you also got to heal stuff.
Okay.
And it was just a quicker way to get some things out. And you've had some stuff. Was this past life stuff in there? There's telling me it's all related.
Yeah.
It's all related. But there was a reason why everything happened the way it did. And this also got you in tuned with your body to say, I don't want to do this anymore. There's got to be something different. And this is what propelled you to be where you are right now, is about rewiring your brain, rewiring your thoughts. And what it is really, it's not so much as, yes, you're rewiring, but what you're doing is you're rewiring so you can be more connected with your fairy girl.
I like that too. I get that. And I have two things to say about this. One of them is that it sounds like I'm just glad, just for the record, fairy girl, you can cut me open and take body parts out in exchange for the emotional healing. Because I've done, I did so much work with the mommy issues and the twin issues that I don't want to visit that. I'm just give me some painkillers, cut me open and take that stuff out. I understand it's all connected, so I don't get off that easy, but I appreciate that little shortcut. But you know what else what you were just saying is that I have this very vulnerable part inside of me. I understand that the yellow chakra and a place that I'm at is, I'm learning how to be like, ask other people for help, let them in or whatever. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, because you learned early on, don't ever be in a place where you need assistance. At a young age, as a kid, they're showing me, you learned very early,
Okay.
don't ask for assistance.
That's interesting, because it's true. I mean, like with my mom, I was like, and this wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it was more like we were roommates. She wasn't a mama. I didn't ask her for help, not even like for homework, which my kids, they can't really ask me because math, but they can try. They're not going to get the right answers. But I didn't even go to my mom for any kind of help. In fact, I remember one time I asked my mom, I'm going to hear another little tidbit. I was asking her about sex and orgasms, and she said, don't you think that's a little personal? I'm like, well, yeah, so I'm coming to my mom with that. So I just knew that there's nothing there. But another part of this, the flip side, is that I've been told, and I want to understand this, that I'm being propelled towards independence. And I don't know what that means. Independence from what? My marriage? Financial independence? I don't know what that means.
Independence, when you said that, it's not, it's independence of independence of the beliefs that you had and still have about yourself.
Okay.
Because that's what that is. Because when you get the independence and you have that within, then it's not a question of you need independence from your marriage or independence from kids or independence from this, because you're going to know that independence is from within. Okay. And from within, then you'll be able to make clear decisions, and you're going to know what route you want to go and what route is best for Carrie.
So it's because it's more of an independence of external influence and just trusting this.
Exactly. That's what it all is for really everybody, they're saying. And that's what it all is. But, we have to start. We all have a beginning on how we get there. And not everybody gets there. And it's not an easy road, because we have to they're showing me it's like this Mario video game, how these things come plowing down in front of you. And if they're showing me these big blocks, if you get one of them, you get bonus points or whatever.
Right.
And it's like that. It's like as you're going through this, you're clearing out things, and it's part of but not everybody wants to do this journey.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And I think about that, like I said, that twin shit and mama shit was so radical. But having been on the other side of it, I'm glad to not be in that place of dependence on the external, rules of the way things ought to be. I'm very grateful. And, I'm sure you are too. And you look back and you can escape that influence that the world had on you. And I see what they're saying. It's not always clear in which ways we're still being influenced, controlled, and not necessarily manipulated, but because we were born into these belief systems and grew up with them, they're just automatically there, whether you sought them out or whether anybody, pounded them into you, they're just there. So they're really hard to recognize sometimes. But, and I believe this is true. I've been told this, is that as long as you hold that intention, like, oh, I know, like, I don't know if you saw me that I have a manifesting shelf. I put my stuff on the manifesting shelf, and one of them is the answers to pour into me to lose this weight, or the answers to pour into me to gain this independence, or even to figure out what to do with this damn rock I have in my chest. So just the intention alone, if you keep having that belief and desire, eventually you'll get there. Let your guides know that you're ready to have that information trickle down to you at the rate or, circumstances in which it will benefit you most. I don't know where I was going with that, but
when you were saying that, I'm also getting yes, and that's why you're experiencing more of guilt with the eating and guilt with other stuff that's going on, and that's why you're having this, is because the universe hears what you're saying, and the universe is going to provide that for you. And this is how you're going to get there in doing this. And I also hear, if it was such a easy task per se, if people picked that stuff up and put it aside so you could get there, then there wouldn't be any true appreciation for you.
Yes.
And it's not that everybody has to have these challenging journeys. It's just a matter of what it is what you're learning in this, and all of us are learning in this, is when you're walking through these challenging moments, you get to see how it really isn't real.
Yes. That's the trippy part. Even though it's not real, we still have to feel it. We still have to experience it. So we have that benefit, and it takes the sting out a little bit, but we still have to process it. At least we know it's not forever, and we will get through it.
That's it. And I always try to remind myself, because I've been through big chunks, and I'm still here, and I'm
the better for it.
Yeah, is just put one foot through the fear, because then it won't be as hard, and I won't be in it and dragging my feet as long as I have 1 foot through fear. Then that means I only have 1 foot to bring through it as I'm working through it. And so, yeah,
that's a really good way to say it and phrase it too. I feel like on some of my issues, my guides are letting me go the slow route and not have to have that Band-Aid ripped off. And I appreciate that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I wanted to share something with you personally, because you've we're friends, we hang out, and my hands, remember how fucked up my hands were? Yes. All the blisters and the ripping. My hands, since I finished my twin work in December, they have been just fine. I could even put real nail polish on. I couldn't do it before because the acetone to remove it would burn. Sure. So I have real nail polish on. So that was such a clear indication that I have healed. And so I maybe I don't give myself big enough pats on the back, but I give myself little pats on the back because that was something else. And I do.
That was a huge one.
That was huge. And as much as I hated having my hands fucked up like that, it's, a silver lining to that is that I get this concrete validation that I did, in fact. Yes. And and I might, release here and there in the future, but it will never be like the constant like cycling that it was before. It was so much releasing. Well, is there any, now this is like real reading stuff right now, and I'm going to ask really personal. What can I do personally to to deal with this lump in my chest? Do I keep taking Pepto-Bismol? I mean, I don't know if I treat it physically or I'm really clueless about how to deal with this. And I am a go-getter, and I do want to take care of my spiritual work. So when they said, we had to cut you open to get you to lay down for a little bit, but I'm up and running again, and I want to deal with this.
Well, when there's a lot of discomfort, I'm hearing, yes, take something to help ease that, because it's really difficult to focus and get in tune and do all this guru stuff they tell us to do when we're feeling a lot of discomfort. It's like
you can't relax.
No, I don't want to hear all that. I need something going on. And I relate that to a toothache. Like, if I have a toothache, don't talk to me about all this other shit. Let me get this taken care of, and then we can discuss.
Right.
So yes, do something with that. But there are, they're saying, look into what you can do naturally to help with that. Also with that, because it feels more to me like it's like I don't know what indigestion feels like, but they said it's a combination of feeling like indigestion. It feels a little familiar, like what do you call, like acid reflux. And I'm asking them, they're saying like those things are kind of one and the same, but one starts one place and one starts at another place, and so it's kind of that same feeling. But there's also a gnawing uncomfortableness there, they're telling me, that's going on with that. And so when just the uncomfortableness is going on, they're saying, just take a few minutes out for you, Carrie.
Okay.
And go to your safe room, your safe place, and just tell everybody, I need 5 minutes. I don't want to hear anything. And then they're saying, breathe into it and say, what is going on right now? Because it's not a constant feel, but pay attention to what brings that up. Okay. And do you feel like you just need to burp real loud sometimes?
You know what it feels like, Denise? I don't know if you ever did this, but when you were a kid, did you try to recite the alphabet in your burps? And you'd have to suck in the air in order to get it out. Well, sometimes you'd suck in too much air and it'd just be stuck. It feels like, I call it my alphabet burp, because it's just stuck in there.
Yeah, I just feel like it just feels like
and it's a new thing. It's not anything I had growing up. It's not anything that my diet changed a little bit because I'm eating cake and stuff, but I don't really think it's food related necessarily. I think it's something else.
It isn't. It isn't food related, because if it was food related, they told me you would know exactly what to do to get rid of it.
Okay.
So it's not food related, but they're saying, just go take some minutes by yourself, even if it's to go walk around the block, and just breathe into it and just ask yourself, like, what's really going on? And what also I'm saying, feed some yellow energy into that as well.
I've been doing that too. I've been doing that. I've been just
pouring
it in.
Yeah, and because it's almost like, I feel like you're going to have like one of these big burps to where you're like, oh my God, that feels so good.
I'm going to burp out my yellow chakra issue when I get to that place.
And what it is, like, you've been working on they show me your root chakra for a long time, which we always work on that area anyway, but you've been really doing some deep work on that. They're showing me the root chakra and your second chakra. So naturally it's this part right up here. And also too, what's in your solar plex right here, also see what's going on. And I know I'm pointing to my right, but also see what how your heart and that is, like, what's bringing up for you in your heart area as well as that. Because I feel like whatever is happening in your solar plexus, it's activating some stuff in your heart place. So it might be easier to go there.
Okay.
And instead of your solar plex area.
Isn't that, and I know that there's going to be something at the end of this, I know that I'll
Oh
figure it
yeah.
out, but how cryptic is that to get that? I mean, just pretend you're a muggle for a sec. Go to your solar plexus chakra and then move her to your heart work a little bit. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, it's so vague, but I know that, that's just a little hint and nudge to push me in that direction. And I will figure it out myself, but
Sooner than you think.
oh, good. Yeah, that was another question because at first I was thinking independence from my marriage, but I'm nowhere near ready. And I'm like, I have to
No,
have this
that's
lump
your
for 4
fear.
years.
That's your fear going there.
Okay.
Because there's a fear in you, like, no, so then there's resistance with that.
Ah, okay,
Okay,
okay.
yeah. And one thing I get is the universe never is going to say, we're doing this so you can get divorced, or we're doing this so you can, leave the country, or whatever. It's all about within. And then when you get this stuff from within, then you're able to make clearer choices on what it is you want to do. If it's to have kids, not have kids,
Mm-hmm.
be married, not married, be whatever. It's about that,
Okay.
and you're able, but it has nothing to do with you getting independence from your marriage. It's all about you getting the independence. It's freedom is what I keep hearing.
Okay.
Freedom. And independence is freedom, because in that is what you're taking back your power, your strength within all of
Yeah.
that. Because
Yeah.
who you are right now is definitely not who you were when I first met you.
Right. I know. We growed up together, huh?
I know it's, I mean, you're so, I mean, you look younger, you look brighter, you look happier. I mean,
You do too. We're just like
I
growing right before our very eyes. How
know,
exciting.
I know, I'm just like, but I mean, I just see this stuff within you, and it's like, um, what you know today, you got it in pieces, and you wouldn't have wanted this whole ball of knowledge that you got now. You wouldn't have wanted this 6 years ago.
I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have been able to handle it. It's too
No,
crazy.
no. It is. So we have to get it in pieces. And
Uh-huh.
so I see this as this independence that you're wanting. This is something that you've been wanting your whole life. Because,
Yes.
and I see even as a little kid, and really what you're wanting is in that independence is safety, to
Hmm.
feel safe, to
Mm-hmm.
feel content, so that however you may be at a certain moment, you're safe. You don't have to be a certain way or act a
Mm-hmm.
certain way
Mm-hmm.
in order to be safe, to feel safe, to have a, I don't know, to be at home, or to have a car, to have a house,
Right.
or whatever. You can just be. It's not that you're not being you, but it's just a feeling of being safe and being um,
I get that.
whatever.
Yeah. And, and I get that there's, they're not like, I don't know. I feel like it kind of sounds to me like I am being geared towards, well, I'm going to call it a financial independence because I am so dependent on somebody else and that doesn't always feel safe. And I don't think that he'd ever like kick me out and leave me stranded or anything like that. It's not that kind of thing. Like I have to, keep getting my ass beat in order to have a meal the next day. It's not like that at all. But um and I've never been independent. I've always depended on somebody else for my welfare in one way or another. And I do crave that. I do crave being on my own in that sense. And that just feels like independence all the way around too. Even something as simple as choosing whatever show I want to watch on TV. I don't have to consider anyone else. And not that
Right.
that's such a bad thing because it's nice to have a partner or whatever, but I've never, ever had that independence. I'm always having to think of somebody else. Doesn't seem like that, but when I think about it, it sure is it. I feel like a spoiled brat sometimes, but no, there's always somebody else to consider.
Well, you feel like a spoiled brat, they're telling me. Part of that is because those are words that were told to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you think that that's what you're being when you're wanting some carry time and some carry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as you've gotten older, you've learned to say F that, and you just go do it. But there's still a tinge part of guilt behind you
Yes, there
with that.
is. All
And
right.
so,
That's rewire.
yes, and it's like start, and when you said rewire, they're saying start with stop calling yourself a spoiled brat.
Well, I don't really think I am. I don't think I am, but if I were on the outside looking in, I would think that you have things real cushy, girl, and you got no reason to be bitching about independence. But there's a side that the outside looking in doesn't see. So I
And
don't.
that it doesn't matter to what they because when we look at other people's lives, sometimes they look real inviting and
Mm-hmm.
wonderful, but then you have to remember what all it took for them to get where they are, and would you want to trade places with that?
Right, and it's not always as shiny as it seems too. So yeah.
Nope.
Nope. All right, we've been yammering for quite some time. This went by really fast, actually. Um, I want to. And do you have anything that you want to add? Do you have anything, or do the guides have anything?
Well, all this stuff you're doing, you can be putting it as Carrie gets another reading, Carrie gets this, Carrie gets that. But what you don't put in there, maybe, I don't know if you've thought about it, but Carrie's going to be writing a book about Carrie gets another reading. And I know you're very gifted at writing, so it makes sense, of course, you doing something with that
Mm-hmm.
ability instead of just putting stuff on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real art and a real beauty to what you do with your writing. So there are people who need and will read your book and will want to read your book, because I just see it's like pages. Carrie's reading number 22, Carrie's reading number 26. But it's going to be about
I need
within the chapter.
material.
But it's going to be within the chapter about something, and it'll be Carrie. They're showing me, and people will want to read this
Aw.
because it's a fun read.
Yes, you know what? I got to talk to Heather's future daughter, Alice, baby alien Alice in the future. She was like a 25-year-old or whatever. She told me she read my book and that there was an inconsistency because the picture I have of myself is of an old lady, but the book is filled with sex. So I'm like, note to self, put some younger selfies in there too. Give people a better image. It's so funny. So yeah, check that book out. It's going to be juicy.
I mean, someone else talked about it, and this is another thing too, is because I thought to myself, was it yesterday or the day before on my walk, I was thinking about how, you're 49 and how, the next age is the big 50. And I was like, I wonder how she feels about that. And I was just having a dialogue with me and my gods, and just talking about this. And they were saying, that's where you need to fine tune too, Denise, is you keep relating age to looks.
Mm-hmm.
And age doesn't have anything to do with looks.
Mm.
It's our thoughts that have stuff to do with looks. So if you feel you're going to look this way, then have at it, girl.
Yeah.
But start seeing yourself how you really want to be and how you feel, because how you feel inside
Uh-huh.
is different than how you look on the outside.
Isn't that the truth?
So they're showing me start painting your outside with what you feel on the inside, because you have a lot of goodness in there, and start putting that on the outside, and who says that we can't look cute and sexy at 80?
Oh, I'm gonna be that grandma.
Oh, same here. I mean, I love, my daughter was laughing at me the other day because we're putting puzzles together and listening to random music from the three of us, picking songs, and they're like, what song do you want to listen to? And I said, I want to listen to Guns N' Roses, and and then another song they played was rock and roll, and I was like, and that's just me. I like rock and roll music.
Do you? You go, yes. Girl.
And I just, and I'm just not a country song person, and stuff, you know, but then again, I love listening to contemporary Christian music too.
Did you ever try my daughter's Cave Town? Remember that concert?
You know, I did listen to that.
Did you?
Yes. I think it's fun and invigorating. I just think it's fun.
I had to listen to it. She was painting. She did this painting, and for 8 hours, she painted a circle just to blend her paint in the right way. And I kept her company. So I had 8 hours of Cave Town, and it grew on me a little bit. I'm like, all right, it's not such weepy ballads after all. I'm in. We can listen to this sometime.
I think it's invigorating. I think it's a fresher outlook on things, and it's a clearer outlook on things, and it's a new perspective on things. And so I really embrace that because I think the younger generation has so much to offer us.
Oh my God. I got such a taste of that. That's a story for another day, but I was like, wow, these kids really aren't the same kids we were. I was so impressed by the things my kid was saying. I was like, I love this girl. I love her. It was awesome.
Yes, God, thank God they're not like.
I know, I feel like I spent so much of my adult time on doing the fucking shit from my youth. And I know that, my kids are going to have some baggage, but not to the extent I ever did. So I feel like their harder challenges or whatever are not just to be undoing whatever crap was on them, but to better the world. They don't have to go backwards and fix the crap. They're going to help make everything else better because they don't have all this shit on them.
This gives me chills. The thing that they won't have to work through is this is what they do know, and they don't have to question it. That they always have had a mother that loved them dearly and one that has always had their back.
I didn't have that.
Right. So you gave back to them. And that is where you can mentally thank your mother for being who she was, because she enabled you to be such a good mother in that area.
Oh, thank you, Denise. And I know of the troubles that you went through to get your baby.
Oh,
So she's in an equal boat. She has two mamas that love her so much. Our kids are so lucky to have us.
And she's going to have shit about me too.
Right.
She even says the other day, that's why I don't like all that woo-woo stuff sometimes. Because y'all say this and y'all do this,
I get that from Layla too.
And I'm just like,
sometimes. Shut up with your damn woo.
I just let her talk, and I don't say anything. Sometimes I'll tell them, I know y'all think I'm crazy, but y'all are going to watch out. You wait and see.
You wait and see. That's right.
But you know what your kids have and what my daughter has? They don't have they don't have a mom freaking out because of what's going on in the world.
That's true too. Can you imagine living under the fear of your parent because your parents know everything?
Mm-hmm.
So,
you're giving them a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right. You gave me a lot today.
Well, I love you. And
I love you too. I miss you.
I know. Hugs.
We'll see each other as soon as we can. How's that?
Definitely.
Okay, we'll eat some Brussels sprouts on pizza. Just kidding.
Girl, let me tell you, these Brussels sprouts Rhonda makes, you scramble them with eggs. Oh my God.
I'll be there. I'm going to go to your house and Rhonda's going to make me some Brussels sprout scrambled eggs.
Oh my God, they are so good. They're to die for.
Okay, I'm going to be fantasizing about those. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate you doing this with me so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for asking. I love you.
Of course, I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, bye.